Not all families have the space available in their houses for each kid to have their own room. And some families prefer room sharing in general, either with siblings or parents with children. And if any of that pertains to you, then stay tuned for this video because we are going to talk about sleep training and room sharing. Thank you for joining me for this video. I do want to preface this video by saying that if you have twins or multiples, this video is not for you. This video is specifically for families who may be room sharing either parent and child or older sibling and younger sibling. So if you need information about sleep training with twins and or multiples, then check out this video over here. So let's jump into my top 6 tips for sleep training with room sharing. The first thing that you want to do is prepare your older child. It's really important to let them know what exactly is going to happen and how the process is going to look. If you have a very sensitive child and they don't really like it when they hear the baby cry, I mean, nobody does, but some siblings are very affected by this. And if that's your child, you can write them a social story. If you haven't heard of social stories, what you want to do is write a very simple book for your older child, including pictures of your child with the baby. So it can be things like, Jack loves to help baby Stevie. And then you want to have a picture of Jack holding baby Stevie or whatever it might be. Jack can feed baby Stevie. So like one sentence per page and just very simple things. And then towards the end, you want to say something like, Stevie needs to learn how to sleep in his crib. So on the next page, you might want to have a picture of a crying baby and possibly say something like, Stevie may cry a little more at night than he usually does, but we are teaching him how to sleep so you can share a room and both get sleep. So when you kind of explain all these things to your older child and let them know exactly what to expect, it's going to go a lot smoother for your older child, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Tip 2 is to double up on white noise. So I always say this, and this actually does pertain to twins and multiples as well, but when you have more than one child in a room, you want more than one white noise source. So if you plan on having them sleeping on opposite sides of the room, you can put white noise next to each of their beds. Alternatively, you could put one white noise machine in the middle of their beds, so in between, so it's basically in the middle of the room if they're both on each wall. And then you want to put one near the door if you have a lot of noise going on through your house at night. So that's going to block out the sound from the rest of the house, but you definitely want to double up. Tip number 3 is to have reasonable expectations, okay? Yes, this is going to be a process. Yes, your older child might wake up in the night, but you have to think of it in the way of short-term pain equals long-term gain. So when you really put it in that perspective, if your family collectively has a couple rough nights, yes, it sucks, but suck it up, buttercup. I say it with love, but seriously, it's only going to be a couple nights, and kind of like this is a situation where the faster you rip the band-aid and just like do it and be done, the faster you're just going to get through the entire process. Now, if your older child does not have a foundation of solid sleep, I want you to pause this video, go in the description box and grab my free baby sleep guide. This is going to help you lay the foundation for both your older and your younger child. So you have to make sure that you've laid the foundation. So if you haven't done that yet, then grab my free guide, but let's keep going. Tip number 4 is to stick to a consistent plan. That is always going to be your key to success. You need to have a plan and stick to it and make sure that every single caregiver is on board with sticking to all these plans. This can be a plan written by a sleep consultant, hello, me, or it could be something just that you and your partner are agreeing upon, or your caregivers, or babysitters, nannies, daycares, whoever is involved in your child's sleep needs to be involved in whatever plan you're going to be following. Tip number 5 is to have your children nap separately. So this is the only time that I say that you should separate your older and your younger child. Generally speaking, if your younger child is used to sleeping in a bassinet or a pack and play in your room, you can likely keep them in there for naps. If that child has been sleeping in the crib, in the room they're gonna be sharing with an older child, maybe your older child gets to have a special nap time in your bed. But whatever you decide to do for naps and however you separate them, make sure you keep it that way every single day. So don't switch it up. Keep it the same. So make sure that when you make your decision and your plan, that you are planning on having your children nap in the appropriate rooms that you can stick to consistently. Now, tip number 6 is optional. So if you have kids who may be a little bit older, so maybe you don't have a baby who can't talk yet, maybe you have 2 toddlers, maybe you have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, or a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, like I had when my boys shared a room. My older kids, when they were older and wanted to share a room, all they did all night was talk and play, no matter what I did. So what ended up working for us was staggering their bedtimes. So I would put the younger child to bed first, and then I would put the older kid to bed about 30 minutes later. So what this is doing is ensuring that your younger child is in a deep sleep, because it takes about 20 minutes to get into that deep sleep, and then 30 minutes after that, when the baby is in deep sleep, is when you can bring the other child, aka the toddler or older child, into the room and just make sure it's very, very quiet. So you might want to do the whole bedtime routine for your older child in a separate room, and then all you guys do is tiptoe into the room, climb into bed, cuddle for a few minutes, and then that's it. So if you are struggling with having the kids go to bed at the same time, I highly recommend to stagger their bedtimes. I hope that you got a lot from this video. If you have any questions, definitely leave me a comment in the comment section and we can talk about it there. Don't forget to download your free baby sleep guide in the description box. Share this video with a mom friend or a dad friend who may be struggling and maybe they haven't started room sharing yet, but you know that these tips are gonna help them down the road. If you share this video on Instagram, please tag me at Slumber and Bloom so I can share your share of my video. If you're looking for more baby and toddler sleep tips, then check out this playlist right here. Subscribe to my channel by clicking this button here and keep blooming. Mwah!